Everybody, Brad from Driven Tech back again. So, on today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, well, it's going to be kind of a trial and error deal, but either way, what I'm going to be doing today is trying to build a cryptocurrency mining rig for super duper cheap. So far, I'm in for less than $200. That's including a new power supply, graphics card, and a little bit of additional memory. The computer itself was free, believe it or not. Actually got that from my parents. So without further ado, let me show you the machine before I get my grubby little hands on it. So first off, what the heck is a cryptocurrency? Well, number one, the most widely known one, Bitcoin, everybody has at least heard of in the news somehow. But these are digital currencies that can actually be traded and encrypted. And what it is that they are digital currencies that operate outside of a bank or financial institution that are encrypted microtransactions or even larger transactions that get put down into units called blocks. Now, these encrypted blocks are then unencrypted, processed, and then spit back out into servers by users such as myself. Now, the important thing to know about this is a fairly new phenomenon, but pretty much every financial institution, Wall Street, banks, just about everybody, government agencies are aware of it, and it is a quick and fast emerging form of currency. So, what does this mean for us? It means that you can build a relatively cheap system with hardware that's not necessarily the newest and best for a couple $100s, and you can definitely get a return on that investment and then some. So let's take a look at this computer. So first off, let's discuss the elephant in the room. This thing is disgusting. I don't know how long this sat in my parents' attic or room above the garage, but I mean, it's just gross. You can see the Cooler Master fan here is just grody. The back case fan is nasty. And look at the floor of this thing. Look at it. Just, oh, it's so gross. So first things first, we're going to get this little sucker cleaned up. Now the next thing is going to be to get the CPU cooler off now that we've dusted around in here and clean off the CPU die. We're going to do that by just releasing the tab right on top. Make sure that the fan header plug is unconnected. Release the tabs from the mounting bracket and then just lift off. And as you can see, we still got some more dust in there. Next, we're going to take our isopropyl alcohol, this good stuff right here. I like to use the 90% or better variety. And we're just going to kind of lightly dab some on the head of a Q-tip here and give it a few little wipes. Just to spread the alcohol around a little bit. Now there's actually a surprisingly large amount of thermal interface material in here, so we just got to make sure that we get all that off, make sure it's nice and clean. And there we have it. And the next step is going to be get all that thermal interface material off of the CPU cooler here. Using the same method as before, isopropyl alcohol, maybe a lint-free towel of some sort, and then make sure it's good with some Q-tips if it kind of tries to escape in some of the cracks. Now the next step will be to apply some thermal paste to the top of your CPU. I prefer to use the Antec 7 Nano Diamond thermal compound, but pretty much any non-conductive thermal compound will suit you just fine. And all you need to do is put a grain of rice or pea-sized blob right in the dead center of it. Then, aiming for the center of the CPU, Go ahead and put your cooler back on, aligning the tabs, hooking them on, and then clamping it back down securely. Then, go ahead and reattach your fan header cable. Mine is actually located right down here, but depending on your motherboard, it will be a little bit different. Now next, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the rest of the power supply cables in order to make room for the new one. Which, as it turns out, is not very many. Next, I'm going to loosen the 4 screws on the back side of the power supply there. Then just slide the power supply either forwards or backwards, whichever way it actually mounts into the chassis. Then take your new power supply, lament that it too has ketchup and mustard cables, and go ahead and install that. Reinstall the 4 mounting screws, and prepare thyself for cable management. Now the reason I had to go with a bigger power supply was the stock one in this case was only a 250 watt. I actually got a really good deal on this for less than $50. It was an open box deal at one of my local retailers. So keep an eye out on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, anything like that for a deal that might get you something like this. While I'm doing some cable management here, it is worth noting that I did swap out there were 2 512 megabyte sticks of RAM in here. I upgraded those with some cheaper 2 gigabyte sticks of DDR800 in order to make sure that this thing will perform optimally under any kind of stress. And remember, it is at this point that cable ties will become your best friend. Now, if you can swing it, get a modular power supply. It will make this job a whole lot easier to keep clean. Alright, so there we go. We got our main power, we got our CPU power, we have power for our SATA drives, our hard drive, and our CD drive up top. The only thing that's left is the graphics card. And once again, my local retailer came through. I picked up one of these Sapphire overclocked R9 285s for less than $100, and it still had a rebate with it. It was open box, so that's probably why I got such a good deal. But definitely pay attention to your local retailers that may have open box deals like this. Look at this. Still has the plastic. Ooh. It's like an unboxing video too. Neat. I'm going to take off the PCIe shield here. Get that out of the way. So you're going to make sure that little tab there is pushed all the way to the back. Line up all the pins for the PCIe card and push down till it clicks into place. Now this is a toolless designed card holder. PCIe card bracket? I don't know, whatever they want to call it. It is toolless, so that just kind of snaps into place, and then this plate here is what actually secures it to the back. Nice and stiff. So last but not least, we have the 8-pin power here for the graphics card. I'm actually a really big fan of the fact that the power supply, or the power connector on this graphics card is actually on the back side. It's going to help with cable management and save us a little bit of space as well. Now, to be honest, I probably could have waited to do a lot of the cable tying in this case, but there's no open side panel on it, so I'm not going to really be looking at it a whole lot to see these cable ties like this. Now, since this case is inverted, I'm actually going to tie these up to here like this, because they do somewhat interfere with the fan that's on this graphics card right here. Not too tight, just to keep it out of the way. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if she posts. I'd call that a rousing success. Now all that's left is to install the drivers and get this thing ready to roll for its next job as a cryptocurrency mining machine. Alright guys, so there you have it. So I've had this computer running pretty much for the last 24 hours, and it's rock solid. I even overclocked the GPU by like 150 megahertz on the core and by about 150 megahertz on the RAM. And again, it's been running all night, and it's actually, I say it has been running the hashing, but I've actually only been using the coin mining software now for about the past couple hours successfully, because I'm a doofus and I set it up wrong. So, woohoo, go me. But hey, if you liked the video, click the like button. If you have something to say, put it in the comment section below. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, hit that subscribe button so hard I can feel it in my pants all the way over here. Or close by. I don't know. Wherever you are. Hey, there's something in the room here with me. Anyways, we'll see you on the next video.